Richard Hammond announces his dad has died as he reveals tremendous grief just weeks after marriage split. The Grand Tour star, 55, shared his tremendous grief as he appeared in a bonus episode of his podcast alongside daughter Izzy. Alan Hammond was a legal executive before becoming an author in recent years. The sad news comes just weeks after Richard announced his split from his wife of 28 years, Mindy. Speaking on Who Are We Now, Richard explained, I have to say quite early on that since we spoke to Professor Green, because that's this week's episode, but we recorded it a little while back. Since then, we've lost my father, Izzy's grandfather, he died. The pair were talking to psychiatrist Dr. T about grief for the extra episode. Discussing the impact of losing his dad Alan, Richard questioned, and so we are, probably, both of us, are undergoing change right now. Is that changing us? Dr. T talked the pair through what they were experiencing and Richard replied, for instance, I've noticed that since we lost my dad I don't wander around daily in a cloud of, there was tremendous grief, of course there was, he was my dad, but it's kind of in the background. And when it hits me is when I'm pottering about doing something often inconsequential, or thinking about something big, my brain has already formed the thought, oh, I must tell dad, and I only sort of get. You know when you're turning a thought into language? So the thought is there, and then I form it into words so I can communicate to myself and to the world, and it gets as far as, oh I must tell, and it's not a big crashing emotion, but it's a definite sense, it's a reminder, and that's the brain doing what you just described.